Just don't take it from us. Don't take it out of our bucket.
The Liberty Schools could be one system that suffers if it is required to pay for vouchers. Next on First News at 10, the debate over helping pay for private schools.
A third grader from Boardman wins a contest, and now he's on the way to the Super Bowl. One of the Browns' stars makes the announcement.
All right, looks like we're wrapping up January with cool temperatures, not cold, but the 50s are back in my forecast. I'll show you how soon those show up coming up.
And a familiar plaza along East State Street in Hermitage will soon have more businesses to offer.
Investigative, in-depth local coverage starts now. This is WKBN 27 First News at 10 on Fox Youngstown.
Good evening, I'm Stan Boney.
And I'm Brianna Ray Turner. If the Ohio legislature doesn't change the school voucher program by Saturday, a large number of additional public school systems throughout Ohio will have to pay to send students to private school.
Last night, the Ohio Senate approved a bill removing schools in districts with overall grades of A, B, C, and some of the D's from the voucher list. But then this morning, the Ohio House unanimously rejected the Senate's plan, and the issue is now in a House-Senate conference committee. Two of the local districts affected by the changes in the voucher program are Liberty and Boardman. In Liberty, it could have serious consequences. Teachers in Liberty met after school to discuss ways to improve math education. But if Ohio's voucher program remains as is, there will be no improvements in Liberty in anything.
And I believe it's going to be the tip of the iceberg, and we're right back in the fiscal emergency.
That was the warning today from Liberty Superintendent Joe Nora. At issue, Liberty High School, which on the latest report card had an overall grade of D. Under the Ohio Senate plan, Liberty may still be required to pay for vouchers for students wishing to attend private schools. Nora says it's not right.
So all of a sudden, we have to say to our kids and to our families, we have less money to support you because we have to send it somewhere else.
With the recent changes we saw come out of the Senate last night, that gets Boardman off the list.
I sat this afternoon with Boardman Superintendent Tim Saxton, who said Boardman High School and Center Intermediate remain on the voucher list. It'll cost Boardman schools between $500,000 and $900,000 next year.
Boardman schools are not a failing school. They're not failing schools. We have A, B's, and C's on a report card. That's not failing.
During last night's debate in the Senate, it was pointed out the number of schools eligible for vouchers has risen from 255 in 2018 to 517 last year and 1,227 this year, an increase of 480% in 3 years.
Our schools are not underperforming at that level, are not failing at that level. What happened was our metric system is wrong.
The vote in the Senate was 26-7, with Mike Ruley voting yes, and all 7 no votes coming from Democrats, including Sean O'Brien. Teresa Fedor of Toledo spoke for the Democrats.
Tell me, when did Ohio taxpayers who already foot the bill for public schools that educate 90% of our students agree to subsidize private school students?
The plan passed by the Senate would also eliminate academic distress commissions in districts with an overall grade of a D. That means Lorain would be released, but not Youngstown or East Cleveland. State Representative Michelle Lepore-Hagan wants all 3 school districts released and says it should be part of anything that is passed.
Pennsylvania wants to become a player in the presidential primary election process. The state Senate today voted to move the state's primary election and presidential election years. The change would have Pennsylvania holding the primary on the 3rd Tuesday in March, and that's the same date as Ohio's presidential primary. Right now, the Pennsylvania primary election date is set to April 28th. If passed by the House and signed by Governor Wolf, the change would take effect in 2024. Another January day that looked like January, but it didn't necessarily feel like it.
No, not all that cold. No big problems tonight and no problems expected for tomorrow either. With our first check of the weather, here's Storm Team 27 Chief Meteorologist Paul Wetzel.
Yeah, and we were this close to getting a little sunshine this afternoon and evening as some clearing tried to push in from western Pennsylvania. But soon as it got here tonight, of course, the sun set, but new clouds are building in from the southwest. Let's go ahead and head on outside tonight, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. We'll back this up back to 7 o'clock, and you'll see how the gray gets a little darker across parts of western Pennsylvania. That was that clearing trend that took shape this evening, but just as it started to move into Ohio, here comes the high clouds out of the southwest starting to build back in tonight, and that's going to be the trend to keep our skies mostly cloudy once again into tomorrow. These thicker clouds are moving in across southwestern Ohio, but they're dry. Not expecting any precipitation to fall out of these overnight or into your Thursday. Right now, look at the temperatures. You can see where it cleared down in the low 20s right now, and those clear skies across eastern Mercer County still holding in the upper 20s throughout a big part of Ohio here this evening. And temperatures will find their way into the middle 20s across the entire region. But the roads are dry. All is clear tonight, and we will stay dry through early tomorrow morning. So heading out the door, temperatures in the middle 20s, scattered clouds expected. We'll have a lot of clouds around tomorrow, but nothing falls out of them, at least through the day Thursday. That starts to change as we approach the weekend. I'll take you through the rain and snow threat. Then I'll tell you about those 50-degree readings and warmer with my 7-day forecast coming up.
A student at a Boardman Elementary School has won a trip to the Super Bowl through a contest run by the NFL. Dewan Dukes Jr. is a third grader at West Boulevard Elementary who plays both flag and tackle football. He entered what was called the Next 100 Super Bowl contest. The NFL was looking for the next generation of football stars. Dewan's mother submitted a video of him, and he won a trip to the Super Bowl. This is the video the Cleveland Browns released. Browns player Jarvis Landry sent him a video announcing him as one of the winners.
Hey Dewan, this is Jarvis Landry of the Cleveland Browns, and I want to say congratulations. You're the next 100 Super Bowl contest winner. See you in Miami.
Dewan and his family are leaving for the Super Bowl tomorrow morning. The students at West Boulevard were shown the video today. Other teams have winners as well, so Dewan and his family will have some company.
Congressman Tim Ryan met with Lordstown Motors CEO Steve Burns in his Washington, D.C. office on Tuesday. The men discussed the company's application for a $200 million federal loan, and Burns updated Ryan on the project and told the congressman Lordstown Motors hopes to start production in Lordstown by the end of this year.
One other story tonight concerning Lordstown Motors. The regional chamber today held its first of what it's calling its procurement events for Lordstown Motors. It was a chance for companies looking to do business with the company to get an idea of what's involved. Here's First News reporter Brooke Minahan.
Close to 500 people packed Stambaugh Auditorium Wednesday morning to hear from Lordstown Motors.
I want pieces of the best of what GM had to offer. I want the best of what the local talent of the rest of the companies around here have to offer.
The company is hosting 2 events to share its plan for the old General Motors facility and how local and regional contractors could help.
We know too they're bringing new technologies to the valley that haven't been here before, so we would expect to see other companies and other contractors coming into our market as well to support them.
The new electric pickup manufacturer plans to start production later this year. They've already hired department heads and are in the process of hiring managers. In the next few months, they'll start to bring in team members.
We look to have more like a family atmosphere when we're working with our partners. That's why we're not referring to them as vendors or contractors. So just want to help grow this valley and hope that it brings excitement back.
Wednesday's event focused on the retooling side. The company is looking for partners to fill roles such as painting, electric, gas, and just general labor.
In the long run, we can probably be a very good community fit for them and grow Lordstown back up to a big business, hopefully.
The company expects to end up with over 2,000 contractors, and they tend to use as many local ones as possible.
We know that the recovery is about more than just that facility, right? It's all of those suppliers and those service providers who have been part of the GM supply chain for years, and so we're going to have a bigger recovery, in a sense, from today moving forward.
A second event takes place Tuesday and will focus on production and automotive work. From there, contractors and businesses put in their bids to do the work for Lordstown. In Youngstown, Brooke Minahan, WKBN 27 First News.
Two members of the Ashtabula County Drug Task Force had to be treated following a drug raid in Ashtabula this morning. It happened at an apartment complex, and officers accidentally inhaled an unknown substance and were treated at the scene. Officers found heroin, fentanyl, meth, LSD, and ecstasy. There was also a handgun and $1,500 in cash. A man from Cleveland was arrested during the raid. Another of the 4 people accused in the death of a West Side Youngstown woman is on her way to prison for a long time tonight. Katrina Layden sat crying in court this afternoon as she was sentenced for her role in the beating, death, and then the dismemberment of Shannon Graves back in 2017. She was given a 18-year sentence. At the time she was killed, prosecutors say Shannon had been dating the man who is now Layden's fiance, Arturo Novoa, who is now serving a life prison sentence for killing the victim. In court today, Shannon's sister called the crimes beyond comprehension.
I never met Katrina Layden, but I can see why she'd be jealous of my little sister. What I can't understand is why kill another living soul because of immature jealousy?
Although Layden was not involved in the victim's murder, prosecutors say she purchased sulfuric acid and other items used to cut up and mutilate Shannon's body. 2 others in the case face hearings over the next several weeks.
A delivery driver for Speedway may have made a big mistake while delivering gas today to 4 stations in the Dayton area. He may have put the wrong kind of gas in the wrong tanks. The delivery driver may have put diesel fuel into the regular unleaded tanks. Several drivers have said their check engine light went on, and some even had to have their vehicles towed. Marathon Petroleum, which owns Speedway, confirms it is looking into whether the gas may have been contaminated. A plaza that has served the Hermitage area for a lot of years will soon be getting some new businesses to locate there. The company that runs the Hermitage Town Plaza has announced 3 new businesses. Gabe's will locate where Kmart used to be and next to where Big Lots is currently located. Ollie's will move into the former Big Lots location near Dunham's, and a new Rita's Italian Ice Shop will be built next to the new Arby's. Rita's will open in the spring, and Gabe's and Ollie's will open in the fall. What a sad day for people who enjoy Buell Park in Hermitage. Yes, there's an ice sculpture of the park's famous swan, but the one that graced the lake has died. The memories it left behind when we come back.
And Salem's famous police dog meets his adoring public in his appearance on a TV show.
You report it, 27 investigates. Download the WKBN 27 mobile app and tap Report It. the Valley's most experienced meteorologist using the most advanced weather technology. Paul Wetzel and Storm Team 27 Viper Radar.
All right, as we cool back into the 20s overnight, warmer temperatures will be building in. I've been talking about those 50s. Well, just wait till later Sunday on into Monday and Tuesday. It's going to feel like spring again. And how about this? This 54 coming on Monday. That comes with some sunshine and dry weather for a change. It won't be wet with the warmer temperatures, but we have some cooler air to go through first. And tonight, starting to see those cooler temperatures settle in, especially over in eastern Mercer County, where those skies cleared this evening. 21 in Stoneboro, 23 in Grove City, still holding in the mid to upper 20s here across the biggest part of eastern Ohio. Storm Team 27 Viper Radar is clear. I don't expect those snow showers or flurries or pockets of freezing drizzle like we had around last night. The clouds tried to clear out, but the high clouds starting to lift right back in, and that's going to be the trend into tomorrow morning. So more clouds building ahead of a southern storm system, which, by the way, mainly stays off to our south. This will sweep out to sea here, just throwing some clouds in our direction. Another storm system tries to sneak its way just to our south, too, as we head on into tomorrow and Friday. But most of the moisture out of that system stays to our south as well. It could throw a stray flurry or a sprinkle into the forecast later on Friday, but into the weekend is our best chance, of the next chance at least, of any rain or snow showers. Here we go the rest of tonight again. The clouds have cleared in a few pockets, but that won't hold very long. More clouds into the morning, temperatures in the middle 20s. The exception, eastern Mercer County, and your temperature will probably come back up once those clouds move back in toward morning. We'll push into the low 30s around lunchtime here and right on into the mid to upper 30s tomorrow afternoon. Lots of clouds, though, and they're not going anywhere. They stick around tomorrow night, but we stay dry. Now, we might have a few holes in them to see some filtered sunshine, but that's about it. Dry weather continues into the start of your Friday, but as we approach midday and into the afternoon, a sprinkle or a flurry isn't out of the question, although I expect more dry weather Friday than any precipitation around. And the temperatures back in the upper 30s, but after that, we'll inch those temperatures up each day as we approach the 50s. Through early next week. So tonight down to 24, scattered clouds around, dry weather through tomorrow. Lots of clouds expected for your Thursday. Afternoon highs in the upper 30s. Here we go with your 7-day forecast. The rest of the week mainly dry with that exception of a flurry or a sprinkle on Friday. Saturday, the chance of showers build in. More than likely some rain showers trying to mix over to some snow showers into Saturday evening and night. That chance of snow will stick around through the first part of your Groundhog Day. Now, I'm not looking for much snow out of this system sweeping on through this weekend. Once we break behind that, temperatures climb into the low 40s Sunday afternoon, and we'll start to dry out and get some sunshine back into the area. Mid 50s on Monday, partly sunny skies. Tuesday, the chance of rain showers returning, but still warm. And then the temperature starts dropping through your middle part of the week. That'll take those rain showers on Wednesday and mix them back over to snow showers on into the afternoon and evening.
Beal Park in Hermitage can bring people out for a number of reasons. You can swim during the summer and hike all year round.
But now one of the main attractions is gone. First News reporter Jacob Thompson was in the Hermitage area today at Beal Park. He joins us now with what's happening.
Thanks, guys. A swan is often described as beautiful and majestic, but a swan in Beal Park drew a lot of attention. In fact, it was so well known that when the park announced the swan died on Facebook, it got almost 500 shares.
Lake Julia in Beal Park sits mostly frozen and, for the first time in a long time, bare, as the famous swan is no longer patrolling the waters.
During the weekend, we had saw that we weren't seeing the swan around the park, so we were kind of looking for it a little bit. We ended up coming across it in a heavy or thick area of bushes.
Voicey tells me when an animal does this, it knows it's time to go. And on Tuesday, the park announced the passing on Facebook, which got a quick response.
The tremendous support that we've had from the community and everyone sharing their own memories of them and the swan.
Everyone had their own reason to see the swan.
Whether it's just a little picture opportunity or just something to get away at lunch, at work, to just go check out the wildlife here at the park. It was special to so many different people.
Now, due to the swan's nature of the way it interacts with the environment, I'm told Beal Park will not be replacing it.
it's domesticated in a way, and it drives away other wildlife. So we've actually seen a dip in, the duck population here.
And whatever wildlife does return, Voisey asked not to feed them.
Wildlife, the swan, the ducks that are here, that make their home at the park, any bread or anything like that, because it's harmful to their digestive system, and it, shortens their lifespan.
Now, Ryan Voisey told me that the swan will be cremated and kept with the other swans that have already passed. Live in the studio, Jacob Thompson, WKBN 27 First News.
Talking top dog, the Salem K-9 team of Simon and patrolman Mike Garber met with the public to talk about their appearance on the show Top Dog. This was held at the Salem Public Library. A group of about 50 people listened to Patrolman Garber talk about his time on the show. He mentioned the courses of him and Simon had to go through. Garber told the crowd no matter what, they felt like winners.
Me and Simon, we won because we got picked to be on the show. We're from little old Salem, Ohio, and this is our first dog ever in the history of the department, and we've made leaps and bounds.
The show airs on A&E Wednesdays at 9, and the episode with Patrolman Garber and Simon has yet to air, and they are not sure when it's supposed to. A man who caused an accident last year in Warren that killed a woman finds out he will spend time in prison for what he did.
Plus, an overcrowding problem at the Trumbull County Jail. What's being done to make sure everyone is secure? This is WKBN 27 First News at 10 on Fox Youngstown.
Watching out for you and your community. This is WKBN 27 First News.
Many of Ohio's jails are experiencing overcrowding. Trumbull County is no exception.
Which is why officials with the Trumbull County Sheriff's Office are hoping the state can provide the money to help out. First News Trumbull County reporter Nadine Grimley has the story.
Inside the Trumbull County Jail, there are 286 cells, plus an additional 20 for booking and medical purposes.
This morning, our jail count was 333 inmates.
Major Dan Mason is the jail administrator. He says in his 3 years in the position, the most inmates they've had at one time is 370.
And it just seems like that when they built this jail 23 years ago, they never dreamt that this would have been an issue.
With the reality of having to house more people than there are cells, they're tasked with having to come up with alternative solutions.
So we put inmates on the floor in what they call boats, which is only supposed to be temporary, but anytime we have a spike in population, we have to do something.
It's not just an issue here. Reasons why Major Mason and others in similar positions are hopeful a proposed capital funding request to help with construction, expansion, renovation, and repairs to county jail facilities will move forward.
Getting them the money to help the counties is very important, and that is something that we're going to be working on. But the long-term solution is going to be getting people, instead of incarcerated, whether it's electronic monitoring or it's halfway houses. That's where we're starting to see a lot of the focuses. So that will take the heat off the counties.
I mean, at some point, there has to be some answers coming from somewhere, and this is why I'm really hoping that the governor does come through with this funding and help us.
In Warren, Nadine Grimley, WKBN 27 First News.
A man who admitted to his involvement in a deadly crash will spend time behind bars. Kyle Munson was sentenced to 2 years in prison this morning. Back in November, he pleaded guilty to aggravated vehicular homicide and DUI charges. This was the scene back in April of 2019 on North River Road in Warren. Police say Munson went left of the center and crashed into a vehicle, killing a 6-year-old woman from Mecca.
The longest border crossing tunnel connecting the United States with Mexico has been discovered in San Diego and has now been closed down. This is the San Diego end of it, with a piece of pipe sticking out of the ground and a board over the entrance. It extends over 3/4 of a mile from Mexico into San Diego. It's 75 feet below the ground, 5.5 feet tall, and 2 feet wide. It had a rail car system, air ventilation, and an elevator at the tunnel entrance. It was used to smuggle drugs. And a portion of the new border wall being built on the Mexican border was knocked down today by high winds. Mexican authorities say it landed on several trees, keeping it from hitting the ground and hurting anyone. The wall is part of President Trump's new border wall project. Well, if we can use facial recognition to open our cell phones, what else can it be used for? How about airports? And a longtime voice of radio news in Youngstown has died. We'll recall the contribution of WKBN's John Nagy when we come back.
The Valley's first and only primetime newscast. You're watching WKBN 27 First News at 10 on Fox Youngstown.
More and more airports across the U.S. are swapping out passports for facial recognition scanners. But is the technology as safe as federal officials say it is? Reporter Katie Byrne has the story from Philadelphia.
So this is an electronic way, basically, to verify identity.
These facial recognition machines are popping up at airports across the U.S.
That's the way of the future.
Before boarding a flight, you step up and instead of handing a gate agent your passport, this machine scans your face. CBP officials say it takes less than 2 seconds and has a 99% matching rate.
It reduces your imposter threat, and it provides a secure and efficient way to verify identity.
At least 27 airports in major cities like Los Angeles, Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, and Philadelphia are using the technology. But so far, it's been met with mixed feelings.
It's really a very big deal. The databases are, first of all, are not immune to hacking.
Paul Hudson is the president of Flyers Rights, an airline passenger advocacy group. He thinks more research needs to be done.
Before you do something like this, there needs to be a buy-in by a large majority of the population.
I'd have to think about it for a little bit.
For some people, the fear is hacking.
There are so many things going on with hacks on the computer systems, and that level is increasing these days, so I feel like that could be a problem.
They're just experimenting now, so we'll see what happens.
For Angelo Reed, it's just another way to keep people safe.
They'll grow into it. They'll get used to it, and they'll realize it's for their own safety.
He's been working here at the Philadelphia International Airport for more than 40 years. Since he started, he's seen a lot of change.
It grew as we went along, and so did security.
Here, airport officials say they plan on using those face scanners until early March, and then they'll decide whether or not to implement them long term. In Philadelphia, Katie Byrne, Fox News.
We have some sad news to pass along to you this evening. We learned earlier today of the passing of John Nagy. He was the longtime news director and voice of WKBN AM radio. We reported to you back in 2018 that John had successfully battled sarcoma, a tumor occurring in soft tissues. Unfortunately, the cancer returned in October. Nagy had a 40-year career in radio, retiring in 2009. Today we spoke to a couple of former reporters who worked with John early in their careers.
He was like the last of the radio news guys who had it all up here. You know, he had all the phone numbers memorized. He had a Rolodex. He could call people. He could dig into a story, find an interview, immediately find the answers to what he needed to write the story. He was so organized. He was so fun. He was a great guy to work with and learn news from.
He was so good. He was so devoted. He loved his family. He loved riding his bike, and he loved the Mahoning Valley.
No word yet on funeral services. John Nagy was 71 years old.
Sports betting and addiction, and YSU extends its fundraising campaign. Plus, the Historical Society teams up with an ethnic group. Those stories when First News at 10 continues.
Always watching, always tracking. Powered by the Valley's most advanced weather technology. Storm Team 27 Viper Radar.
All right, better weather around tonight. Although the clouds tried to thin for a while, they are getting thick once again. But we're dry, and that's going to be the case for the rest of tonight into tomorrow morning. Here's a look at Interstate 80 at State Route 11 there at the connection there, looking over toward Liberty this evening. And the dry weather, as I mentioned, keeping those roads dry too. Storm Team 27 Viper Radar not picking up on anything. And I expect Viper Radar to take a break tonight and tomorrow because I'm not expecting anything to fall from these thicker clouds that are going to build right back in through the day tomorrow. So tried to thin for a while from the east, but here come the clouds from the west to cover right back over top of the area. So as we go through the rest of tonight, these temperatures that have fallen into the low 20s will probably steady off here over the next hour or so, and then actually climb a degree or two as the clouds roll back in out of the southwest tonight. So let's go on and get into your county and neighborhood here for the rest of tonight. Dropping down around 24 in the city of Warren. Look for clouds all across Trumbull County through early tomorrow morning. Down into Mahoning County, temperatures dipping into the middle 20s. Cool start to your morning, but a nice dry one. Unfortunately, not going to see a lot of sunshine tomorrow, but you can see a few peaks filtering its way through, especially through the first half of the day. Columbiana County, temperatures in the mid 20s first thing tomorrow morning, and after that cool start, you'll build back to the upper 30s. And then over in western Pennsylvania, there's your upper teens to get out the door, and that's because you've cleared out for a bigger part of the evening, letting your temperature get a little head start on the overnight lows. Same thing goes across Lawrence County, down to 19 in New Wilmington, 22 in New Bedford. So tomorrow, look for temperatures to claw their way back into the upper 30s. Plenty of clouds around, a little filtered sunshine. And then as we go into tomorrow night, well, the clouds stick around and they last on through Friday too, although I do expect some sun trying to sneak on through. Small chance of a sprinkle or a flurry through midday Friday. A better chance of some showers on Saturday. Could even mix with a few snow showers later in the afternoon. Not expecting anything big this weekend, but the chance of snow showers Saturday night into the start of your Sunday for your Groundhog Day. And then we dry out and start to warm up. Low 40s Sunday afternoon, some sun returning. Nice weather on Monday, mid 50s, and we'll stay around 50 on Tuesday with the chance of rain showers building in, and then the temperatures start falling with rain mixing back to snow on Wednesday.
The final game in the football season is always the most interesting. It's also the game which receives the most bets, an office pool or maybe a wager with a friend.
First News anchor Dave Sess talked about an expert about keeping that simple wager from becoming a problem.
Sports betting is more available and accessible than ever. Daily sports fantasy, legal sports betting, and those who do it illegally.
What we do know is 90,000 Ohioans do have a problem with gambling.
Stephanie Gear talks with people when they seek help for a gambling problem. She says all gamblers, young or old, begin the same way.
So it always starts out as a form of entertainment, but for some people, based upon vulnerabilities and other biology, all of that stuff may develop an addiction to it, just like drugs or alcohol.
There are warning signs for people who might have a sports gambling problem. They include exaggerating wins, minimizing losses, conflicts within relationships, even being secretive about gambling. It's known as the hidden addiction because it's so easy to hide, and gamblers may live a fantasy life.
Even if I'm destroying my life, and I know I am, but wait a minute, my next big win's gonna come. You know, I'm gonna win. It's gonna all be okay. Yeah. And that train of thought continues all the way to that bottom.
26 million people are expected to place a bet on the Super Bowl. An office block pool, a simple wager with a friend, or a legal sports bet. And for 90% of them, they're not at risk for a gambling addiction.
But a way to keep it fun is to budget it, right? It's a form of entertainment. If you want to participate in sports betting, that set a limit with it.
There are resources available if you have a problem with sports gambling or maybe even buying too many lottery scratch-off tickets. Those can be found on the WKBN app. Dave Sess, 27 First News.
Setting sights even higher. Today, the Youngstown State University Foundation announced it's increasing its capital campaign goal to $125 million. That's because the previous goal of $100 million was met in record time. The money funds scholarships, brings state-of-the-art classroom technology, and supports endowed faculty professorships. In all, the campaign has brought in nearly 2,700 gifts. 32 of those were $1 million or more.
The Mahoning Valley Historical Society is partnering with an ethnic group. They made it official this morning. Simply Slavic gifted the Mahoning Valley Historical Society $2,500. Several people came out to watch the presentation. The money will help preserve artifacts related to the area's Slavic heritage.
A Columbus woman didn't make it to the hospital to deliver her baby. Instead, she had the baby in her car in the hospital parking lot. As Dan Perlman from our sister station in Columbus, WCMH, tells us, the baby was delivered by a woman who was given a second chance in life.
Cameron is the baby girl now home, born healthy, but born in a way her parents could have never imagined.
It still feels kind of like a dream.
It was Monday morning. Colleen's contractions began. The pain increased.
The time between them certainly shortened.
So she and Cody got in the car and they rushed to Mount Carmel St. Anne's.
I pull up to the front driveway and I just start immediately screaming for help.
But Colleen was in so much pain, she was unable to get out of the car.
I knew that I had to deliver the baby in the car. I knew that that's where she was coming. And at that point, I was scared as to what that looked like and what the next couple minutes were going to be like.
They would be the moments where this woman would come to her aid.
I've never delivered a baby before.
Bernice Hill told Colleen to push repeatedly, and she did.
She pushed one good time, and I caught the baby inside my coat. It was amazing.
And what makes this even more incredible is that Vernice is just happy to be here. In 2018, she was badly burned when she was inside an East Side home that exploded.
My life was spared to bring another life into the world. Yes. And she is so beautiful.
A beautiful baby girl now in the arms of her parents, a mother and father grateful for the woman.
She was an angel put there for a reason.
No longer a stranger.
She's an angel, and we thank God for everything that happened the last couple of days.
That was reporter Dan Perlman in Columbus. Colleen and Cody are still in touch with Vernice and consider her a part of their family now.
Well, the Cleveland Indians make a big change that everyone will notice, but it won't win them a World Series.
It has to do with safety at the stadium, protecting people from hard hit balls. What you'll see this season when we come back.
investigating local stories that are important to you. WKBN 27 First News.
When the baseball season opens this spring, fans at Progressive Field will notice something different.
More safety netting is being added around the field. Reporter Jack Shea tells us what to expect.
1-2. In a time when baseball pitchers have never thrown harder and batters have never struck the ball more forcefully, the Cleveland Indians have announced the club is extending the netting down the foul line at Progressive Field to cover all the way to section 128 in the right field corner and to section 174 in the left field corner. The height of the netting will also be increased from 23 feet to 33 feet. And the existing canopy is being removed, which the club says will enable foul balls to reach fans in the lower bowl. The Indians issued a statement that reads, quote, "We are looking to maximize safety while minimizing obstructing views, and will be utilizing the same netting material that we have had recent success with in the ballpark."
People don't want to go to a ballpark and leave in an ambulance. So they seem to just continue to take baby steps. I would like to see them take the initiative to protect everybody.
Dina Simpson of Chardon has led a crusade to have comprehensive netting installed at all professional ballparks after she lost the sight in her right eye when she was struck by a line drive foul ball at a Lake County Captains game in May 2017.
What I have to live with is hard. Even almost 3 years later, it affects me every single day. And I started this mission because I never wanted anybody else to suffer like I have.
Simpson maintains the Indians' plan to increase the netting at Progressive Field does not go far enough.
It's time that they truly put fan safety first. They need to step up and do something to protect people.
Dina Simpson is the driving force behind a proposed new bill introduced just last week in the Ohio House that would require all ballparks in the state to extend netting to each foul pole and to raise the height of the nets to cover the entire lower seating bowl. While the Indians and 29 other Major League Baseball teams are trumpeting the increased netting, Simpson is calling on MLB to be more transparent with the fans that fill the seats and take the big step that she has been fighting for.
Every injury matters. It shouldn't have to take one tragedy after another piling up for them to finally do something.
Well, other sports news coming your way. First of all, we travel to Pittsburgh to check in with a former Kennedy Catholic player now playing basketball at Duquesne.
We also travel to Mount Union, where a former Strother coach is now in charge. Sports is next.
Covering the top local rivalries and the sports stories that matter. Chad Krispinski and Sports Team 27.
Hi again, everybody. During his entire high school career at Kennedy Catholic, Maceo Austin never lost a single tournament game. He's taken that trend for success to the college ranks at Duquesne. Josh Furketic made the trip to Pittsburgh tonight and has more with Austin and the Dukes.
Kennedy Catholic grad Maceo Austin has started all 19 games for the Duquesne Dukes this season, helping them to a 15-4 record, their best start since the 1971-1972 season. Tonight, they hosted the 7th-ranked Dayton Flyers, looking to snap a 2-game losing streak. Early on, off the Dukes miss, Austin grabbing the rebound down low and gets the putback. This, though, his only 2 points of the night. Seconds left in the first half. Jalen Crutcher trying to beat the buzzer for Dayton and banks it in. Dayton by 8 at the break. Second half, Flyers coming out, flying off the miss. Obi Toppin soaring in and hammering home the rebound with one hand. He's a projected top 5 pick in the NBA draft. Later in transition, the alley-oop to Toppin, who throws it down. He led the way with 22. Dayton led by as many as 19, but the Dukes made a run. Farrell native Sincere carry for 3. Yes, he had 11. Then later off a couple of misses. Michael Hughes going to grab the rebound, create some space, goes up strong and throws it down with 2 hands. The Dukes would cut the deficit all the way down to 3, but in the end, just not enough. Dayton edging Duquesne 73-69.
Personally, we don't really accept moral victories, but we fought, we gave it our best, and we almost put it out at the end. So we'll definitely accept that, but we wanted to win on the scoreboard. I mean, it helped a lot. The playing top talent back home, only gets you better for the number 7th team in the country. That's what we scheduled those games like our Savior for, and the other big games that we played to get ready for moments like this.
A big OAC matchup in Alliance. Mount Union hosting John Carroll. McDonald grad Braden Poole 13 points tonight in a starting role. Second half, Poole dishing off to Devontae Frigga, who drives and finishes off the glass. Later on, more from Frigga, this time from distance. He had a game-high 27 points off the bench. And here come the Blue Streaks. Sean Flannery splashes down the triple. He tallied 8 on the night for JCU. Under 2 minutes left. Raiders down 1, but they regained the lead. Colin Gurley, 2 of his 22, then a 3-point game, 8 seconds left. John Carroll gets it to Ryan Berger, who appears to be fouled on the shot. They call the foul on the floor. John Carroll's coach can't believe it. Last second shot off the mark. Mount Union holds on 88-85, improving to 10-1 in conference play.
Well, obviously it's a big game because right now we can't lose a game if we want to win the OAC outright. So every game matters, and as you can see, every game's tough and every game's a fight. And it was gut check time, and at the end we came down with it. We came with the win.
Any game's big for us right now. This league's so difficult, as we have seen every single day. So it takes years off your life. I wish I could say it's enjoyable, but our guys gutted it out, and I'm proud of them. Really proud of them.
This is the WKBN Fast Break, sponsored by Boardman Subaru.
Closer to home, West Branch girls hosting Canton South. Fast start for the Warriors. In the first quarter, Carly Scarpetti knocks down the triple, and she was far from done. Back to work later. Off the dribble, drive zips through the defense and goes off the glass for 2 of her 17. Also a big night for senior Peyton Alazas, who pulls up from way deep and splashes this one down. She finished with a dozen. West Branch rolls 51-26, improving to 15-2. Our Game of the Week crew heading to Cardinal Mooney High School Friday night as the Cardinals host rival Ursuline. You can see the game live Friday night on MyYTV and the WKBN app. It's a special tip-off time at 7:30. Following a 6-year hiatus, varsity football is returning to Kennedy Catholic High School. Golden Eagles will play Single A District 10 games. KC will again take the field under the direction of head coach Joe Harvey. The complete schedule is available online at WKBN.com. That's your look at sports. We'll be right back.
All right, temperatures dropping through the mid-20s overnight and then back into the upper 30s tomorrow afternoon. Dry weather expected, just a lot of clouds around with a few peaks of sunshine through the day.
Well, that's a look at WKBN 27 First News at 10.
Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow night.
Good night.